Alright, today we're going to be working on Google Sheets. So in order to find Google Sheets, if you just click on your apps again, you'll see Sheets there. So if you ever want to get to Sheets yourself, it's just another one of the Google apps. Now today I have an assignment for you guys. This looks a little different because, well, this isn't in your classroom yet, but it will be when you see this. We're going to open up this Google Sheets assignment, and I have the instructions here for you. So this assignment will help you to store information, create formulas, and create graphs. A lot of fields, work fields, use this kind of information and use these kinds of templates and these programs to store information, to store formulas and store graphs. I use it myself for all of your marks. And math teachers, they'll be using it for, formulas and graphs. A lot of teachers will use it for these kinds of things, and there's so many other fields just besides teaching that will help you with these things. Now, we're going to be using some functions, and you can read that yourself. I'll be showing you guys these, and we're just going to be following these steps here to try to get the best mark you can. So all this information that you're going to be entering into your spreadsheet is actually just information that you come up with in your head. I don't have any specific things that you need in there, and you'll understand a little bit more when we get into it. Now, one big thing is just remember you have $1,000 to spend. So this is just all hypothetical. None of this is actually real. I'm going to show you guys first what the template looks like. So it's pretty blank. There's a few things for you, but I'm going to show you guys what a finished one will look like. Okay, we have lots of information in all these spots, and I came up with all these numbers and names all in my head. It doesn't matter what you really name these things. They could be anything you want. Okay, so I'll just show you for this first one. What we need in this column here, where it says name 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is just come up with some names for some people. I left mine the way it was, just because I'm just doing this as a demonstration. However, come up with some names. You can put your own name, put anyone from the classes, put your family's name, doesn't matter. Put a name in there. You'll need your gift recipient. Ooh, I see that I don't have that. Let's fix that. Let's fix that. There we go. Okay, so we have the gift recipient, the gift purchased. I'll be back. Okay, and we're back. Where was I? Just putting these things in. So anyways, just name these off with some names, and now we need some gifts to purchase. So come up with anything you want. I just came up with the first 6 things that came out of my head. Some kind of toy. Barbie, toy car, whatever you want. I put a plate in by the end because I couldn't think of any other toys. But whatever you want to put in there, just put some random things. Try to make them all a little bit different, so that way we have some different prices of these things. Don't just put a yellow pencil, a white pencil, a blue pencil. Put some different prices in there. We want to make you do a little bit of work. Next one, just a store where it's purchased from. Where do you think that toy would be, or that item might be purchased from? You're not going to get a cake from the hardware store. So if you're getting a hammer, that can come from a hardware store. Grocery store, that's where you can get your cake. So come up with something that's reasonable. Good idea. You're going to get a toy car from Amazon, right? You're going to get an apple from the co-op. Next one, come up with an approximate price of what you think these things might actually cost. If you're not quite on it, that's fine, but I shouldn't be seeing you're going to be buying a book that costs $3,000. First of all, your limit is $1,000. But just keep them reasonable. A book's like $5, $15, somewhere around there. So come up with some reasonable ideas of how much you want to spend on these things. Next one, you're going to be coming up with a quantity, so the number of items of these things. And you can come up with anything you want of this one. Try to do some random numbers. I don't want to see all ones down here. Just pick some random stuff. I just went down my keyboard and just chose whatever I felt like. And the last one, we're going to come up with the grand total. Now this is where we're going to actually have to start doing a little bit of work. So in order to figure that out, I'm going to go back to here, and I'll put some numbers in there. So let's just say 42.32, so $42.32, and I wanted to get 4 of them. Now here in the totals part, this is where we actually have to do some work. So we're going to be using this button, your functions button, and this is going to do a lot of math for you. So for those of you who really don't want to do any math in your head or on a calculator or on a sheet, this functions button is for you because it'll do all the work for you. So we're going to hit the functions button. Now we want the sum. Now if you remember from math class, that's going to be figuring out what the total is of these things. Now we can use sum in a couple of different ways because summing is just addition in math, but we can do a little bit of multiplying with this too. But for now we're just going to be figuring out some of these things. So we got these two numbers. All you have to do is highlight them, hit enter, and that did not work. Why did that not work? Oh, I see why. Okay, let's do that again. Sum, and we're going to click this square, and now we're going to go choose times. So if you want to do the times button, you hold shift and push 8. And that gives you that little star. So shift 8 gives you the little star, which on the keyboard means times. And we want to times it by the one in this square. So it's D4, so D, it's just like Battleship, D4 times E4. And then you push enter. And if we did that calculation, 32.24 times 4, it will give you that number. Now, we could put numbers the whole way down here. And let's do that real quick. 57.12. $2.98. Couple in there, and one more. Let's do a big one. 101.98. And let's see, we want 2 of those. I don't know, 34 of those, 12 of those, 16 of those, and 2 of those. Now we don't have to do that same calculation for each one of them using the sum function. You can actually go back to the one that you did, and that's why it's important that you make sure you do the first one correct. You might want to check it on your own calculator. So if we go Google, go calculator, just to make sure if you don't have very good mental math skills to be able to, because I can look at this and I can tell you that yes, that is right. But if you're not sure, if you want to check it out yourself, you can always use the calculator. Type in these numbers yourself. What was it? 430, 42. Doesn't matter. I know it's right. Type that in. Double check. Now, if you don't want to do that for all these other ones, which I strongly suggest you don't, you just click on the square that you've already done. See, there's a little plus button when I get on there, and you're going to drag this down. Now, it automatically fills in all of the numbers for you. It's done the calculations. You can see, and you could probably do this one in your head, 101 times 2, just over, right? Because we got the 98 cents. So this is a really nice function to make it so you don't have to do many calculations. Really, I only had to do it once, and then the computer did the rest. And we can do the same thing with averages. Okay, so we're going to click over here. We want to know the average number, or the average cost of the items that we bought. Now we go over to our functions just like before, and there we have average, right? So I'm going to click on the open square, go over there to average. Now, what are we averaging? Why, all of these things. So you can just click and drag and highlight all these at once, and you can see D4 to D9. So it's using all these ones that we have highlighted. Just hit enter, and there you go. That's the average cost of the items. We can do the same thing for all of these products over here, and we can do the drag it over. Easy peasy, right? All these calculations. Now I'm going to let you guys try these last two on your own. It's basically the same thing. We have a subtotal. And why do I not have the tax on there? There we go. Let's add these. Missed these out for you guys. I'm sorry. Paste. All right. So we can figure out the same thing using all of this sum function. So I want you guys to try that out. You're going to be doing a subtotal. So you need to figure out how to add, or how much all of these things cost. So you'll be doing, again, sum and highlighting these ones. Make sure you don't get the average in, because this is not the actual product. We only want what the products are. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go sum, and then you need to multiply it by 13%. If you're not sure how to do that, it's when you're multiplying, just highlight just like before, and it's times 0.13. And that should give you your answer. And that'll give you your percentage. Add these two up again. So we need our grand total, so you're going to add these two up. Go back to sums, because you're adding them up. And you can do it the same way. The last one, we have money left over. All you have to use is you can use the functions again, using the sum, and first you need to actually put in $1,000 minus whatever your grand total is. So for mine, I'm going to put $1,000 minus, and then whatever my number is, and you'll get another calculation for that, and you won't have to do any work again. So it's a very handy thing to use. And after you have all of your information in there, I'm going to go back over to mine. You can see I got all my numbers in there, so I had $5 left over, so I did pretty good. So you want to try to get as close as you can to 1,000, but you definitely cannot go over. So if you accidentally go over, just remove the quantity of one of these items. So like if I went over by a little bit, I'd probably get rid of this Barbie, put it down to 1, maybe lower this number if you had to do that, and then these numbers will change for you. Okay, so you won't have to do any recalculations if you accidentally go over a little bit, but try to keep it reasonable. Now, last thing I need you guys to do is you need to make some graphs. Now, you can do different types of graphs. I made 2 here for you, bar graph and pie graph, and they're actually doing different things. It shows on this one, you have the cost of items. And this one is actually the number of products actually purchased. And you could do different types of graphs using different kinds of information. Maybe you have a couple things from Amazon. So you could do a graph of how many things are from the same store. So to be able to make these graphs, all you have to do is go up to Insert and go to Chart. Oops, I forgot to highlight some of the things. So you should probably highlight what you want first. Let's do totals. Okay, now we go to Chart. Okay, we go to Chart, and it's going to make it for you. Now, if you're not happy with the title of some of these things, you can go ahead and change them. So I'm going to put that happy-go-lucky, or whatever title is actually appropriate. This one's obviously not appropriate for the graph that we're doing here. So change it however you want. If you don't like it, you can always delete it and make up a new one. So lots of different types of things you could do with that. I made that was obviously a bar graph, but you can do different types of graphs with these ones. You can change how your information looks using this at the top, and it's a really neat way to get your information organized and put a little visual to what you're actually doing. I think averages, color. Oh, color. We forgot to add color. Last one is if you highlight something, you can put a little background on there, change the text color, or you can actually use this bar along here to highlight the information that you want, just so it stands out a little bit more. So that way I can figure out, oh look, here's the averages along this line, because it's a lot of reading otherwise. And I think that is everything that you need to use. So you guys can go ahead and get started on that, and I'll be putting this one on my website, or not my website, on Google Classroom as materials, just so you can take a look at this, so you kind of know what yours should look like in the end. All right.